Hey, Ann. All right, what's happening? We got Ann here on the stream. We'll see who else is watching. All right, it looks pretty loud. Fix this. Take that down. That should be a little bit quieter. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let's mess around. Turn these guys down. Oh yeah, okay. That's even kind of quiet. This is cool video. So this is from earlier today. This is from Ecuador. What's happening, Accordion in Paradise? Happy New Year to you as well. What do I want to turn off? The stream starting soon. The stream has started. Welcome everyone. All right. I really enjoy this marching band music or parade music. Hey, Jack Place. Great to see you here. Happy New Year. I'm not sure where they are, but there's on this channel all day long, or actually this week and last week, they uploaded tons of videos of this parade. It's really fun. I'm not sure. Pilas Tere is the name of the channel. The music and traditions of Ecuador. It's cool. They have an Instagram too. Hey, Accordion Heather. So we found this channel before through Accordion Music. They have posted a bunch of these street bands. Let's check out another one. We'll check out these guys a little bit. Hey, Birdie Wooster. Sounds good. They all sound good. Good music. All right, let's listen to a little bit of one more. Oh, these. Wow. Okay, this looks colorful. That looks like a Colombian flag. Although I don't know, what's the flag of Ecuador look like? Oh, okay. Yeah. It's very similar. Oh, they have electric bass and flute. Oh yeah, they got all kind of amplification. Yeah, getting down. Hey, Roland G. Cool. So I guess this is this morning. I mean, I'm not exactly sure when it's from, but it was posted this morning. They posted a bunch more last week too, last weekend, that we didn't watch. But Well, there you go. Good morning or afternoon, everybody, depending where you are. I guess, yeah, probably it's at least afternoon. Since we're starting at the normal time, I'm pulling up my playlist here of what to talk about. Today is New Year's Eve, as you all know. Maybe if you're listening somewhere across the dateline, it's New Year's Day, but I doubt that. I hope everybody's doing great. I'm doing pretty good here. It was a nice, let's see. I saw you guys New Year's or Christmas Eve rather. And later that day I went into Manhattan and had a wonderful and fun New Year's Eve gig at a great French restaurant. And they fed us and just treated us great. We got champagne pretty much from the moment we got there. It's wonderful. It's this place called Pastis, which is on Gansevoort Street. And I realized after I got there and parked, thanks to moving the live stream early, I was able to leave pretty much as soon as we were done. I was already dressed. I didn't have to change or anything. All the stuff was by the front door, loaded the car, drove, like no traffic or anything. Got there with plenty of time, got parked, found the gig, brought some stuff in. To keep it safe and warm. And I realized that the Whitney Museum was on the next block over. Like as I went to the corner, I said, that's the Whitney Museum. So that was really cool. It's right there on that same, basically across the little intersection on Gansevoort is the Whitney Museum. And I thought, well, I have 2 hours to kill. Maybe I'll pay the fee and go spend 2 hours in the Whitney Museum. That would be great. But they were not open on Christmas Eve. So I went and visited a friend who's also views the show, Christine. I don't know if she's watching right now, but I took the subway up, the 2-3, up to like Uptown and visited her for a little while. That was really cool. We played a little music. And then I took the subway back down, made it to my gig, set up and had the great gig, and then drove home that night. I got home pretty late, but it was great. And made it to a Christmas party. No. That's another gig. Sorry, I'm confusing my gigs. That was another gig the previous week. This night I just came home. It was Christmas Eve. Came home, went to bed, and woke up for Christmas. That was great. Hey, Cameron O'Neill. Yeah, shout out to all your fellow Manhattanites. That's right. And I'm going to be there tomorrow again at the same restaurant called Pastis with Charlie Roman's band. It's the same band leader. I don't know who the sidemen are. I believe that we have a different violinist. Was Antoine, who's a wonderful violinist from France, originally based out of New York. And I believe tomorrow it's going to be a friend of mine, someone I've worked with for a long time, named Adrien Chevalier, who's a phenomenal violinist, also from France, but based in Manhattan for many years now. And I think it's just Charlie on voice and guitar, fantastic guitar player, myself on accordion, Adrien Chevalier on the violin, and then I don't know who the bass player is going to be. It was Jen was the bass player, and I had never played with her before, but she was phenomenal. As is not a surprise in Manhattan on a gig, you're probably I would say most cities in the U.S. you're gonna wind up on a gig with a great, very very good bass player. That's my experience at least. So I'm excited. That'll be tomorrow. And so tonight for New Year's Eve, I'm going to go out. I'm still not sure exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do either stay here or drive to a friend's house. And I'm going to do it very, very low key because I got to get up early to be able to drive into the city. And once again, get there with plenty of time to find free parking. Because otherwise you're going to spend like $100 on parking and not too much of the gig money left over after that. So try to leave really early. I'm going to try to hit the road around 6 a.m. tomorrow because I don't know what the traffic's going to be like going into Manhattan. People are telling me that a lot of people have New Year's Day off. I hope that's true. So we'll see. If that's the case, then I shouldn't hit too much traffic, but I don't want to risk it. So that's what's going on in my life. Still working on migrating the website. Figured out that the developers didn't put it in some important code to count the views for the sound slice integration, blah, 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 but they're working on it. They have a solution. So that's coming along. By next week, I'll be able to, invite everybody to the new website with the new forums and all that kind of stuff. And that is very important because we're going to start the Artist's Way next week. So let me pull that up. Let's see here. The Artist's Way. There we go. There's The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way is 12 weeks. It's a book. I encourage you all to get your own copy. Find it online, buy a copy, Kindle, whatever, and play along at home. This is a great time. I chose this time of year because the New Year is when we refresh our goals, we review, we look forward. To the new year. It's time to start new projects in earnest and all that kind of stuff, which I love doing that stuff. It always feels really refreshing and motivating to me, and I've been doing it. I used to do about 10 years ago. I was really into the David Allen book, Getting Things Done, and he has we would do a thing called the Horizons of Focus, which is just a kind of a goal setting. What do people talk about now? What's it called? It's escaping a vision board. Vision board people do nowadays. But goal setting or whatever, intention setting, that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I think for now, let's just listen to some music. I went into my subscriptions and also Google or search some other people. I thought we could start with some different fun stuff. Let's start with some fun accordion music. So we have a lot of bandoneon, accordion stuff. Let's see. Let's start with, how about this? This is pretty intense. So this is the Italian accordion player Simone Zanchini, and he's performing solo this piece, Le Onde, at a festival. It's pretty cool. It's too bad. I like that tune a lot. It's really cool and there's something incredibly intense about it. But it's really groovy. Let's see if we can find him performing that again, maybe in another context. Let's see. I don't know. No, I'm not seeing it. I don't think this is it. This looks like something else. Okay. Well, that's all we have. Very cool though. Let's see. What else? So then this time I just decided to, I'm starting to get tired by just what's on my YouTube subscriptions. I realize it's just kind of limited to the people that post a lot, and it's starting to become sort of homogenous. Hey, Happy New Year to you too, Bill. BGR in the chat here. So I went ahead and searched some of the favorites that came to my mind. By no means the exclusive list, but here's a couple that I found of Finnish accordion player Maria Kalaniemi, who's always been an inspiration to me as an accordion player, and with Timo Alakatila on the piano here. And the other musicians are, let's see, Johanno and Mikko, oh boy, Livanenen. Livaninen. I'm going to go with that pronunciation. And these are a different energy than Simone Zanchini, but super, super beautiful. Not the greatest recording because it's like somebody's phone only, but it's okay. I think we'll enjoy these. I'm going to play 2 of these, I think, from this concert. How about that? pause that just for a minute, but it's so nice. So the pianist is also a favorite of mine, Timo Alekotila, and I first keyed into him through finding Maria. Maria I found through Guy Klusevsek and Guy's Accordion Tribe project from the 2000s. And I hopped on YouTube and searched up every single one of them, and Maria was somebody who was my most favorite out of all the wonderful accordion players in Accordion Tribe. I think there's just something about her influences that are more similar, and I don't know, just the music she makes. And she has a couple recordings with this string ensemble, Finnish string ensemble called Aldargas, and a pianist, Timo Alekotila. And so I actually had them on CDs because I'm that old, as I assume many of you are out there. I don't know. I hope we have lots of Gen Z and Gen Alpha people watching. But for all the people who remember CDs, had the CD, looked it up, who are these people? And the arrangements were credited to Timo Alekotila, and I discovered from searching a lot of stuff that's my favorite stuff, I think, of Maria's is with Timo. Or not my favorite, but I enjoy it so much. Here is another piece. I guess it's called Blessings. I'm not sure what's up with the question mark. Maybe that's part of the title. Here we go. Performing Blessings at this place name that I cannot pronounce. Here we go. As part of their Christmas tour on December 14th. Nah, this is not the one. There's one that I wanted. The other one I wanted to play started with piano. I have to find it here. Let's see. Listen to that one. Is it this one? Oh no. I guess it was that one because there's no Maria on that one. So chromatic. Wow. What kind of modulation. Timo uses so much pentatonic and just so beautifully. Maria's, the way she shapes. So much shaping. And the little ornaments. So pretty and so chromatic, right? Those modulations, all those half-step harmony movements, really, really beautiful. Okay, well, are any of you gonna make resolutions, or is now a good time for anybody out there to, sit down and write out just a bunch of stuff that you want to improve or start, review your projects, reset your pathways for the new year? I'm wondering. I know a process that I like to do is just to kind of, I I love coffee. It's good for my brain. So I sit down with a cup of coffee in the morning, is my better thinking time, and just kind of jot down over maybe the course of an hour or something, without too much of a limitation or stress. Just jot down everything that I could possibly think that I want to improve, or that needs to be improved, or whatever. Don't edit it. Do that in a separate step. So some good, triggers also are like left hand, right hand, techniques, approaches, genres, styles. Are there, kinds of performance that I want to do more of? Do I want to work in duo more? Do I want to work solo more? Do I want to work on my accompaniment inside of a gypsy jazz ensemble, or on odd time signatures and more contemporary jazz styles? Do I want to compose more of my own music? These sort of things. I don't see myself doing that this week, just because tomorrow I have a gig that's going to take up most of the day. And then this weekend I have some personalized stuff, fun stuff to do. But next week, I think, probably over the course of the next couple weeks, and I bet that's going to coincide with the Artist's Way. So I just want to kind of not necessarily walk us through anything, and we're not going to watch any videos this year. In years past, I've pulled videos of people talking us through different stuff. We're not going to do that today. I just want to listen to some great music, because last week we listened to Christmas music videos, but the last 4 before that, I was just going through arranging tunes, which I'm going to do more of in the new year, by the way. But that's the subject of today. But I'm curious if anybody wants to put into the chat if you have that in your plans coming up today, tomorrow, next week, next month. It's good to do, and now's a wonderful time to do it. When I look back at when I've sort of been the most motivated and made the most growth, it seems to be around 2 things. One is just proximity to other musicians. So when I've lived in cities where I'm around lots of gig possibilities and musicians working, and community, musical community, that's one of the things that creates the most, obviously activity and growth in my playing. And the other one is when I am motivated to improve with goal setting and writing and managing of myself, thinking of okay, what are things I want to improve, and how can I turn those into goals? And I think we all know, we've all been exposed to this stuff in our lives. either around music or in all the other facets of life, that they're supposed to be measurable, right? That's one of the things that we think of. When I work with students, especially people whom I have never worked with before, new students, and I know that they want to set up a series of lessons, like 6 is like a package of lessons that I sell fairly frequently. And when it's a new student, I like to have a phone call and some emails, and just to say, okay, tell me all the things that you want my help with, that you're looking for assistance from me with. And then let's kind of pare those down. And if they're amenable to it, agreeable to it, can we make those goals performable, performance related somehow, some way? It doesn't mean they have to get on stage for, a crowd of 1,000 people. But even just to have the goal of playing for family or playing for their children, if they have kids around the house or friends that stop by, hey, because that really, it gives a reason for the music. It gives sort of a shaping and a container. And in that, it allows us to kind of understand what we're trying to do. And that becomes really the ultimate thing, I think, for all of us, which is that this music is our voice. It's our expressive capacity. And we want to express that to other people in our lives, Also, it can be, the performance could be to make a recording, which is something that people seem to take me up on less frequently, but I think it's still very important. And obviously it's important to us if our goal is to do music, in any scaled up thing where we're asking to be hired in some capacity. Usually having some recordings of ourselves is it's a really good thing. And it's especially for me with distance learning. I don't have a physical accordion school, so almost everybody is distance learning and has been for years and years now. Recording is a wonderful sort of, it's not necessarily a simulated performance. It's a real performance. It's just a different kind, and it has many of the same demands, you can't, you could, edit your accordion performance, right? Cutting and pasting and all that sort of stuff. But what's the point? It's better just to just do it again and do it again and get your nervous system to do the things that you want emotionally. And then you get that feedback. So anyways, just a couple of things that I'm opining on here. I'm filled with the kind of a feeling of gratefulness too, or gratitude, I guess, in a way that's more associated with the holiday of Thanksgiving. But I feel that way, especially visiting some of these accordion players that I just searched up today who come to my mind that are constant sources of inspiration and have been for years and years, like Maria Kalaniemi and Timo Alakotila. And I wasn't familiar with the guitarist and vocalist, but they're just phenomenal. Checking with the chat. Ian said, Happy New Year. I say Happy New Year to you, Ian. I hope all is wonderful with you, and I wish you a great year of accordion. And same to you, ACC Heather. Heather shared that 2 of her accordion-related resolutions are to put practice time into her calendar so that she can actually find time to have some accordion each day, and also to use a 10-minute timer during practice to help focus on working on something specific. Those sound like phenomenal things. And Anne in the chat says that her goals are to keep practicing accordion daily and to get out her other instruments. Yeah. And does that mean well, I know that you played the oboe and also the diatonic button accordion. So are those the 2 other instruments? Are there more? I'm wondering. And you sound great, by the way. I had a lesson with Anne this morning, and she just sounded wonderful. Put in tons of time, and it had just everything you would want. It had joy and relaxation, and of course, growth and expression. A wonderful musician, Anne. So feel free, anybody, to... Oh, and cello. I forgot that you played the cello. That's cool. I want to know more about that next time we meet. So feel free to put stuff in the chat. I'm gonna go, like I said, the main thing of this session today is just checking out accordion videos and talking about the new year and other sort of stuff, because I find it very nourishing. I notice that's another quality for me that I notice is the more I listen to music, whether it's accordion or otherwise, that I like. I guess the more I listen to instrumental music that sparkles in that sort of brain, that part of my musical brain, because I do listen to all kinds of music, and this year especially I went through a big kick of pop music, and almost like club dance pop music, Dua Lipa, for example, and then some like South American Spanish language pop artists, and some other stuff. And that's really fun and makes me move and feel good about life, but it doesn't give me the same inspiration as putting on instrumental music that I really enjoy, and listening to that. Particularly like bandoneon music really inspires me. Baroque harpsichord music really inspires me, and that's no surprise that is very highly represented on this channel as well, or on my YouTube stream, my live stream. Anyways, but that's just to say that this is an important part of my life. I know that when we start Artist's Way next week, one of the things that Artist's Way wants us to do every week is to take ourselves on an artist's date. And I'm going to talk more about that when we cover the first chapter. So that's the other thing is, everyone, your assignment out there is to get Artist's Way and read the first chapter, because we're going to talk about the first chapter of Artist's Way this coming week. So one of the things that Artist's Way is going to have us do is take ourselves on an artist date. And an artist date, we'll cover it more in detail because she explains it, the author. But it's like, it has to be just you. You can't go with a friend or, your romantic partner or whatever like that. It has to be just you, all alone, and it has to be doing something that is nourishing to your art. And I think for all of us, I imagine that we're multi-talented. Like Anne has 4 instruments that she's cooking on. But it could be, we could be writers. I know a few of you out there are musicians and writers, or painters, or all sorts of things. But if it is for music, then, it could be, I guess, going to a music store and digging through sheet music. Or it could be going out to a concert. That's the one that seems the most obvious. But I think also for us musicians, it could be anything, really. Like, it could be going to an art museum with, fine art in it, because I find that to be very inspiring. But something that deliberately feels like it is nourishing to your artistic self. And I think that the idea that you're by yourself means that you get to sort of be in that spirit of being the creator that you're trying to be, that you're trying to work out. So that's really fun. Anyway, in that spirit is kind of a lot of what we do here, which is like talking and learning and exploring, and also just enjoying beautiful music and getting inspired, and I find it very nourishing. Somebody else I'm grateful for to know is a wonderful American accordion player named Rachel Bell. And this is a new video from 13 days ago on her YouTube channel, where she's going to tell us about her work over this year. And then I have another video by Rachel that I want to listen to today. Rachel is based out of Battleboro, Vermont. And Rachel plays a lot of New England folk music and contra dance music, as well as tons of other stuff. She's an amazing artist.
Welcome to my project for the day, actually project for the year. So back in August, I was awarded the Creation Grant from the Vermont Arts Council, which supports a whole year of writing new ball folk tunes. And so I'm having a blast today, and last couple days I've been working on learning tunes for Bande de Noirmoutier, really fun dance. And I've been learning like some trad tunes and listening to a bunch of tunes, trying to figure out what makes those tunes really fun to dance to. What are the elements that are really cool? As you can see right now, I have kind of a blank page here, so I have a ways to go. But I'm so grateful for this grant and this opportunity, because I love learning and writing ball folk tunes. And the reality is that
Thank you, Ian. Sorry about that. There we go. There's Rachel. Sorry, everybody. We'll get to see Rachel play her accordion in another video soon, too. But sorry about that. You were just watching me react to it.
In full-time music, it might seem like there's a lot of time for exploring ideas and being creative. But in fact, that time so often gets eaten up by emails and travel and packing suitcases and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really hard to actually carve out time and space to explore tunes and be creative and write new material and try out ideas. So I'm thrilled about this and really grateful to the Arts Council. And the idea is that I'll write a tune in each of the major dance categories that we
That's
dance
cool.
here at Brattleboro Ball Folk in the course of this coming year. And then every other month, Becky and I will hopefully share one of these tunes at the dance to dance to. So if you were there in October, we played a new set of Andros. And this Sunday, hopefully, I will have a new tune for us to play. And so you should come to Ball Folk on Sunday, December 22nd, 6:30 p.m. at the Bradbrook Community Center in Guilford, Vermont. And you will find out if I actually managed to write a new tune or not. How's that for a cliffhanger?
That's awesome. Okay. So one of Rachel's major projects is this band called Eloise and Company. Although this is credited as Eloise and Elodie. So I'm not sure the difference. But the Eloise and Company configuration with Rachel Alcoin on piano is recording a new album. Okay. So cool. So this is a piece called We Are Not Broken. So beautiful. Aren't we lucky, yeah, to hear such great music? I'm going to keep it on this subject of, oh, I could subscribe to Eloise and Company. Yeah. So on the category of accordionists based in the United States, let's check out Sam Reeder. And Sam Reeder has a band called Golem. And let's see. This is a through composed story. So I need to watch this whole thing, and maybe we will on a subsequent live stream. I was talking to some friends of mine, Jamie and Gabe, about a month or so ago, and they told me that they saw Sam's performance up in Seattle, and it was amazing. And it's this through composed composition. Through composed means, well, actually, I should say it's not necessarily through composed, but it's a large composition with multiple movements that tells this story. This is Sam's band called The Human Hands, and this is this composition called The Golem. And we'll watch the first movement of it, which is called In Darkness, A Rabbi's Prayer. I'm kind of scrolling up here so you can all see it. It's very cool. It's on Sam's channel. And this is from a performance filmed at Jalopy Theater in Brooklyn on June 26th of this year. And there's Sam on the piano. I'm going to read this, pause this. In a time of darkness, a mystic rabbi dreams of summoning a being of great power into the world to vanquish evil. Kind of Thelonious Monk-y. Cool that there's two violinists. You know, this is really cool, but it occurs to me, why don't we find a movement that has Sam on accordion? I didn't think of that. Here we go. Okay, so this is this is movement 5, a power too great to control. Okay, cool. So we have these little they look like woodcuts, oblivious to his own. I mean, we're skipping a lot of the story here, so sorry, folks. Oblivious to his own powers, the golem spins out of control, leaving a path of destruction in his wake. Bellow shake thing and the video didn't capture it. Okay, and we'll in there, and yeah, feel free to watch the whole thing on your own, guys. But yeah, aren't we lucky to have same reader as well? Okay, so let's see who else. Somebody born in France but based in the United States is Julien Labro, and I'm pretty sure I had something from him. I thought, maybe not. That's okay. Well, I did, but I don't see it anymore. That's okay. All right. What else? Okay. Well, other kind of new projects and new music from the great artists, in my opinion. Here's Joao Baratas, and actually, let's go a different direction. Let's go to let's check out this. So this is okay. Here we go. We got the La Donacella, the accordion. Let's see. This is Donacella accordion, but this is the school. Let's see. A band of accordions from the School of Music, Perico Ripiao, which I don't know. I'm going to have to throw that into Google Translate while we listen to it. But we got, let's see, some young people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 accordion players. Is there percussion? There might be. Not sure. But here we go. This is cool. Oh yeah, there we go. Hey Preston, thanks for watching. Hey, Richard's watching. We got a bunch of student faces on there. All right, I'll just stop it there. That's so much fun. Okay, cool. So my friend Richard, my best friend and old friend, is watching on the stream. That's really fun. And this reminds me, watching the faces of the students kind of trying to hang on and looking happy or not or whatever reminds me that this is part of my learning experience too. I once I found band, I loved it. It was my community of people. It was my friend group. It was just something that it was the big joy in my life. And I played clarinet first and in band and piano, and then eventually found my way to the accordion and dabbled in some other things along the way. And in our very, very small town, there was a local television station. And I distinctly remember being on that at least one time for the Christmas special with a couple of the other kids from high school. And I must have been in like 9th grade or something. And I can remember, I don't know, I think I was a little bit more enthusiastic, but you're young and awkward and all that sort of stuff. It's fun. On that subject, Kennedy posted in the chat that one of their goals for the new year is to find an accordion teacher and start learning. And I think it's a fun to throw out to the chat. I think everybody listen, what kind of advice might you give to Kennedy or yourself if you were starting all over again on the accordion? either about like finding an accordion teacher or finding an instrument or things that you wish you had known or learned along the way. It's a fun subject that I just thought about right now. I personally, I don't know. I think I remember one of the things that was really hard for me at the beginning was just getting an instrument that was like kind of decent, you know. I remember even like I thought I spent a bunch of I spent what was like an astronomical amount of money to me at the time, which was like maybe $300 at a pawn shop with an accordion that like promptly just fell apart and did not have much utility there. And then I ended up going to the Acme Accordion School after that and getting put on a payment plan, which has been over the years very helpful for me as an accordion player with no home equity. And no credit card. I do have a credit card now, but yeah, a payment plan was very, very helpful for me to get an instrument. But they're not cheap. They're not cheap, and it's really hard to find a good one for us. So that is I think a really important thing is just to have the luck or the help to find a good instrument. I do teach, of course. Kennedy, if you want to check me out, you can send me an email or even sign up. Anybody that's interested can hit me up. On my website, risingreed.com, risingreed.com. But there's a ton of great accordion teachers out there. In fact, Rachel Bell teaches accordion. We saw online. She has her own website. We were just watching her. She does the ball folk music. Most of the accordion players that are professional that I know teach. And there are many, many more all around the U.S. And that's such a great thing. Accordion Heather says if she were starting over, she would get a button accordion. And I think, Heather, you probably mean a chromatic, like a C system, probably, button accordion, or a B system. Although I know you like French music, so you'd probably get the C system. Yeah. That's a common thing. I wonder, have you ever tried one? And Anne says some kind words for my teaching that She talks about how much I've kind of expanded stuff, and I'm part of Anne's musical life, which is, as we know, Anne plays multiple instruments, so I'm one of her teachers and one of her accordion teachers. By the way, she's got another really fabulous accordion teacher that she works with. I'm just looking through the chat here, but yeah, that's a fun. So there's something for you too, Kennedy. Is Accordion Heather suggests or doesn't suggest, but just says. Button accordion. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Bertie Wooster. Well, this is okay. All right, but I appreciate it, but I don't want to make this seem like like a total commercial for me. But I do appreciate it. Bertie Wooster says, shout out from my teaching that I've made him a better, and Heather too. Okay, I appreciate it, guys. But just in general, general things, maybe about any reflections or things that you've learned. About accordion that you wish you would have known or started differently from. Kennedy says they have a used Weltmeister. It works. That's great. Yeah, if it works, that's what counts. Can it do the thing that you want? I know Heather teaches accordion, and one of her challenges is the students have like accordions that don't play well at all. So that's great that you have Weltmeisters are very good accordions. I'm trying to think of other stuff that as far as music, I think, I think as far as music in general, this is something I would not have been able to do for myself. So I don't know like how I could have gone back in a time machine this way, really, because I didn't get this concept till a lot later, but I wish that I would have had the ability or had some help, had some community and hands-on help to really guide me to learning stuff by ear way earlier in my musical life. Since I started music I would say I started an instrument in the 6th grade when I was 11 or 12, clarinet and then piano lessons in the house. And for years and years and for way too long, my entire experience with music bypassed my ear and learning. And that's me being very candid and vulnerable there to share that, because I feel kind of embarrassed that it was so many years that I didn't do that. And the more I've developed my ear personally, like to be able to identify stuff that I'm hearing and then get it out of the instrument, to sing along with it, to identify it, the better, the deeper connected I feel to music. And like my soul comes out better. I understand the language and all that sort of stuff. Just like speaking a language. Okay. Well, feel free to keep popping stuff in. So Heather says, get the best accordion you can afford with good compression. And and everyone's saying with good pressure, good compression in your accordion is super, super important for all the stuff that we want to do. All right, let's move on. Let's check out. So here's another new video. We won't watch all of this. This is very cool. This is from a very cool thing that I found over the last couple of years is just music from Argentina in general. This is a channel, an Argentinian channel. It has a lot of music from like the north of Argentina, which is mixes with the cultures from the south of Brazil. And to me, this song sounds very chamamé, that genre. And I'm going to turn on the subtitles so we can hear what she's singing about. We're not going to listen to their whole set, probably just their first tune. This is Nelida, Argentina Zinon.
Placer cantar esta canción oficial de la localidad de Colonia Liebig. Hacia allá vamos.
Cool. Colonia Liebig. Check out how he's playing the accordion on his knee. It's cool.
Colonia Liebig, la correntina, departamento de Ituzaingó. En tus colinas tus fundadores descansan junto al viejo Timbo. Por Playadito van los colonos, los tareferos y los mensú. Rumbo al recuerdo del 24 del alma se han puesto cursú. Colonia Liebig, la del progreso, en carros polaco veo cruzar. Crisol de raza de tu comarca, corazón tibio de barbacoa. Al oro verde de tus yerbales, Colonia Liebig quiero cantar. Mezclando ritmos chamamecero con ucraniano y el
Chamamecero.
alemán.
Cool. That's cool. Can you guys see the subtitles?
El viento trae una colomeica desde muy lejos cruzando el mar para quedarse en tu tierra roca y acerenciarse en tu yerbatán. El chimiray, viajero siempre lleva en sus aguas canto triunfal. Todo esfuerzo ha sido el pionero, raíz de un tiempo juntas llorar. Colonia Liebig, la del progreso, en carros polaco veo cruzar. Crisol de razas de tu comarca, corazón tibio de barbacoa. Al oro verde de tus yerbales, Colonia Liebig quiero cantar. Mezclando ritmos chamamecero con ucraniano y el alemán. Colonia Liebig, la del progreso, corazón tibio de barbacoa.
Wow, what a that's very cool. With the cool spirit to their anthem. Very, very cool. So, Accordion Heather asked me to repeat the genre, chamamé. I'll type it in here because I know that's from Corrientes of Argentina. Let's see. Let's look up Corrientes. Argentina. So Corrientes is this area here at the north of Argentina, and we see that there's Paraguay here, and then this is Brazil, the bottom of Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, Corrientes, and Brazil over here. Porto Alegre, which I believe is where Choro Trace is from, that band that some of us know in the United States of Choro musicians. Anyways, The music is from here, and also there's like a lot of the chamamé, or much of the chamamé that we've heard on this channel is performed by Brazilian, or accordion players who live in Brazil, speak Portuguese. But yeah, cool music. And that's cool how the song says that it's a mixture of chamamé and music of Germany and Ukraine. Interesting. Okay, cool. Very cool. Did I lose my... Let me go back to my playlist here. All right, what else are we going to listen to? Some more fun stuff. I have things that are not accordion as well. But okay, so while we're on this subject of Argentina, here is 4 pieces. We won't listen to all of them, but 4 pieces by Carlos Quilici or Quilici. I'm not sure if it's an Italian pronunciation. Kind of looks Italian to me. And I've only listened to some of the first piece, La Nonna. I definitely want to hear at least another one. They don't have kind of chapters in this video, but beautiful. If you're new to the live stream, I love listening to the bandoneon and on freebase accordion. If you have a freebase instrument, which I do, I play Machino freebase. We can play that music. We can model it. It depends on the system and how good you are. On the Machino freebase, it's not that hard to play the stuff that they can play. Well, relative. On some of the other instruments, it's hard to reach all the stuff, and it's just laid out differently. So what you can get is not the same as the bandoneon. But bandoneon music is our cousin, to the accordion. So here we go. This first one is called La Nonna, and it's a valse. And then I think we'll let it roll, and we'll listen to the next one, which is Nandi. Although I'm kind of interested to hear the last one that he closes on, to Pisar el Palito. Cool. Okay, not the tonic chord I thought he would end on. Very cool. I want to hit play on this one. As you can see, I clicked on the Instagram link. Curious what this sounds like.
Con los Tauras, canta.
Sick. And this real quick. It's just beautiful. Really cool. Okay. Yeah, all right. So one of the things about bandoneon music and these tangos. Oh, I also want to say thank you, Christian. So Christian is talking about the name because I was saying I don't know if it's if you pronounce his name Quilici or Quilici or Quilici or I'm not sure. And just, that the name Carlo would be Italian, Carlos is Spanish, and maybe Portuguese too. Yeah. I'm more interested in that C-I at the end. Is it chi or C or ki? Who knows out there? Christian, do you know? And okay, so 251s. So that the main theme here. La di do ba do, la di do, la di do da di do. So it's like a so that's a major 7. La di do. 3. What key do we think is in? B flat. So yeah, okay. So that's the tune essentially. And it's a 251. It's a jazz harmonies. I mean, well, I guess if I was in Argentina, I'd be like, that's tango harmonies, bro. But to me, as an American playing jazz, it's jazz. Jazz harmony, we know it as a 251. What's his? It's like a this repeated thing. Okay. Yeah, there is no. I thought there might be like a dominant chord taking us back to the 2. Whatever, however it is, I could get the melody a little bit more accurate. But yeah, just to talk about that and then to try to transition to this cute little video from Open Studio Jazz, which is a great channel. I'm a paying member of it. I'm sure it's renewed now or about to renew. They are not cheap for the year, but they're great. They have really phenomenal jazz content. They don't have any accordion content, thankfully, or they put me out of business maybe. But they have tons of jazz piano content, and if you're a jazz accordion player and you're looking for some more stuff, I would recommend becoming a member of Open Studio. They're really, really great. But they have this cute little video that I thought was fun, well produced. It's just a minute long, about the way you can change. And this is it happens to be a minor 251. So from E, put the accordion back on. So they're going to talk about a minor 251. The 251, the one is D minor that they're going to talk about. A D minor 6. Oh, use a bandoneon. I mean a bassoon. So they're going to talk about the 2 chords. So D is 1. So we play D minor 6. The 2 is E. E minor 7 flat 5. And the 5 is A7 with a flat 9. And they're talking about the Barry Harris thing that we've talked about on the channel before. So you're alternating between D minor 6 and C sharp diminished. Okay. So this is a little trick to show how much utility you can get out of some of these chords.
Adam, what's up? E minor 7 flat 5 comes from Barry Harris's G minor 6 diminished scale, which is composed of 2 chords. What are they?
G minor 6, A diminished.
But there are way more than 2 chords in it. I'm going to show you. Play the E half diminished, and instead drop the E to E flat. What do you have?
E flat major 7.
Drop the B flat to A.
A7 sus.
Drop the D to C.
C7.
Drop the G to F sharp.
F sharp 7 augmented. And that's all well and good, Chris, but how do we use these in real life?
Well, let's say we're playing a D minor vamp and we have a 2/5 to it. So before the E half diminished, I want you to play an E flat major. Now play an A7 sus. Now a C7. Now an F sharp augmented.
That is pretty good.
So cool. That might go not be as useful for some people that aren't familiar with that, but it's cool. Very cool. All right, let's take a little sojourn. We'll keep on this kind of theme of harmony and stuff, and we'll go into Baroque music. So here's a channel that I like a lot that has a new video. This is En Blanc et Noir, and this goes in with my own. I think as I design my own goals for this year, I want to get back into the partimento. Partimento is something that I found at the beginning of this year, and I really haven't done much with it. I started out real strong, and then I got into singing, and then I bought Richardis Cochlearius's course for a lot of money, many hundreds of dollars, and I didn't do anything with it. But it's there. I bought it. I have access to it, so I can go back and get into that. And so anyway, that's cool, and I want to do that probably on the free bass, but probably applied to the Stradella bass as well. And it will. What I want to do on that is I want to get into improvising on and making my own variations of Baroque music. So of like taking like maybe a Bach invention or something like that, or something by another composer, French Baroque or other German Baroque composers. For the free bass accordion, and improvising on it, changing it around, and then just being able to maybe sort of compose and improvise my own stuff in the style. And it should not be. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard. It's exactly what it's designed to do. In that journey, I found my way to this YouTube channel by the channel is called En Blanc et Noir, a beautiful channel with lots of stuff on improvising music and creating music. I think it's exactly the style that I know as an American in jazz, which is to learn it as kind of licks and vocabulary stuff and then play around with it, transpose it into all the 12 keys, which he does a ton of. He goes beyond just Baroque music. So he has stuff in the classical style and especially the Romantic style. So he has a lot of Chopin melodic vocabulary, harmonic vocabulary that he transposes into 12 keys and makes these cool cycles of practice out of. And then he just improvises these longer things. And so here's something that's very sophisticated, which is a fugue. So we're going to watch En Blanc et Noir. And I have to tell you, fugues are not my favorite thing to listen to. I think they're just not as fun for me as other things. But we'll see. This is about 4.5 minutes.
Yo, cheers people! In this video I want to share 2 improvised minimalistic fugues on a methodical subject.
Alright, I'm going to get involved. So let's see. I'll play the subject here. Let's see how he articulates it. I don't know. Now, one of the things, I was just talking to a student this morning, is about knowing to play, to play with sort of a classical sensibility or a repertory sensibility. An important thing for all of us accordion players to know is how to play the exact pitches that are written on the page of music. So that E is the E that's on the staff, and it's a particular note that we could sound If we were on the piano, we would know there's only one E that gives you that sound on the piano. On the accordion, that E that gives you a sound is dependent on which switch we have. So I'm going to switch it to, let's see, I think I'll do the middle high switch probably. And in that case, it's going to be right here. And that's a good switch for us because it keeps it in the camera frame without me having to go back from the camera and get too small. And the rule about that, a little teaching moment, is that we want to have whatever registers, whatever reed blocks are in our accordion that are sounding, it's the lowest sounding reed block is the one that we want to sound there. So in this particular switch, there's the middle set of reeds and the high set of reeds. And so the lowest of those two is the middle set of reeds, the clarinet, you would say. So the clarinet reed would be here. So that's where we choose to play it. So let's see. Let's say 1. I can't really tell the tonality. It could be C major. I don't think it's A minor. I'm not really sure what he's going to do with that, but we'll see. And also, I feel like the articulation matters a lot as far as understanding what's important about the rhythm of the melody, the melodic rhythm. So let's see.
Alongside two preludes I recently rediscovered from my hard drive. One of the fugues and one of the preludes share the key of A minor, so I thought it fitting to pair them as a set.
Aha, it is an A
Let's
minor.
listen.
Okay. Okay, so something to point out is that there is this just collection of vocabulary that it's used, and it's I think it's the same in all developed systems of musical language that improvise. So I imagine in Arabic music there are things that are similar. In jazz music, for sure, I can tell you there are things that are similar. There are these. I see also let me make the chat smaller, guys, because it's right over my eyes here. But anyway, so what I'm trying to explain is like the ascending 5/6 chain. You can Google that. You can find, I'm sure, videos by En Blanc et Noir. It's where in the key that you are, it wouldn't move like that because you're not supposed to move in parallel fifths. But it's that in yellow ascending 5/6 chain is describing the vocabulary that he's using there. It doesn't describe anything else it doesn't tell you like how it's linked, what the other harmonic context is, what the rhythms are, what the left hand is doing, unless the left hand is what's being described in the yellow. Cool. Pardon me. Let me start that again. Let's see. And that's what I was trying to figure out what it was going to sound like at the beginning. That's the piece of music that he had on the screen. I encourage you all, by the way, here's another thing. Going along with learning by ear, I wish I would have been encouraged, because I see really that, as a young musician, I really needed guidance, and I got some wonderful guidance, which I think is why am a musician, like the high school band director, who was also the junior high school band director, who left too early. He was there for a long time, influenced many people, but then it's I only had 1 year with him, 2 years with him, I forget. Anyway, it wasn't enough. He was great. Patrick Bolick, phenomenal guy. But he had to leave. And then we got other people, and he influenced us in a lot of ways, but not in so many ways about using our ears. Okay, so we have I'm just thinking of, I hear the the articulations, they're kind of like a détaché. And then a little bit of legato on the faster movement. And then so what happens in fugues is you get the subject and then you have a counter subject. And the subject, being dumb, that then is going to come in, let's see. All right, I got to find it in the stradella. Beep, boom. That's going to be played in the other hand, or the other voice, we would say, because a fugue could be played by a string quartet or whoever. An accordion, a piano, a guitar would be very hard, but you could do it. Organ, of course. And so that's the subject that gets played, and then you have a counter subject that continues afterwards and goes into the other voice, and it's this very much kind of like a canon, like row, row, row your boat as a canon, but much more sophisticated. And yeah, thanks, Christian Gregory, following along on the on my prediction of whether it would be an A minor, and C major transition, at least in that prelude thing, but it probably will go to the relative major. Okay, now he's telling us the key. So it always goes to the dominant, or the key of the 5. And we're back in the A minor. And it's what usually happens is that it's going to wind up in the key of the 5 eventually to start again. Third is the name for when a minor piece cadences, or a cadence in classical music is it's a little chord progression that finishes a section of a harmonic movement, of a melodic movement, like kind of where a section of the song sort of comes to rest is a cadence point. And it's a useful thing, like a musette, a French musette always has a cadence halfway through it, and then again at the end. So it's a useful phrase for us regardless. The double cadence is fun. He went to the 5 of 5 to the B, or a D sharp diminished, however you want to think of that. And then Picardy third is the name that they call it when a minor piece, minor tonality, A minor, all of a sudden the very last chord is an A major, or whatever the parallel major is. That's it. Anyway, cool. What else does he have here? And that was improvised, which I think is really what's the word? Worthy of appreciation.
Fridge full of gorgeous stuff. All the leftovers.
Unlike
Jimmy Oliver,
I usually don't leave leftovers, but here's another little prelude that I don't remember recording or using in the video. Let's go.
cadence is when the cadence is on the 5 chord. And many musicians do this, not all of them.
And now another tiny fugue on the same subject.
Oh, I see. So it just, that was a tiny fugue. Okay, so it just, the whole piece ended on the 5.
First one, but this time I use a slide.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so let's pop
So
over
Professor
to
Menke, can we speak?
this super important. If you're at all interested in Partimento, this is the show and podcast to check out. Is the Nickel Hogan Show. And now I found out that he has his own, the Hogan School of Music, which I did have open here. I don't think I have any more. But the Hogan School of Music, which is Nickel Hogan's website. Oh yeah, here's the link. I'm not exactly sure what you can, if he has online courses yet, but there are a number of different places to learn. So far, I think it's just, let's see. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, so videos and stuff. He's got educational stuff. Anyways, this is like the sort of the preeminent. He's putting out episodes still. It's a little bit slower than it was there in previous years, but he's interviewing all these scholars, these music professors from around the world, literally, and people who are doing the scholarship and research and education of these ancient, I don't know, would you say ancient, of the Baroque techniques that are used. And I'll say again, I've said it before on the stream, but what partimento is literally a partimento is an exercise that was given, but partimento is the tradition that is kind of really recently uncovered. For centuries there have been treatises teaching what is Baroque composition and what is, how can you learn a fugue, how can you learn to improvise a fugue. There's a famous book by a German named Fuchs, Fuchs, that has this whole a system of species and all this sort of stuff. Oh, I said series, and Siri, my phone, thought I was talking to it. Anyways, but the exciting thing is that what the scholars have found is I don't really know why now and not before, but this system that's called partimento is the way that the early Neapolitan. The early Neapolitan, right? Is there Venice? Oh boy, this is a big thing. Let me find out. Hang on. I don't want to make a faux pas here. See, if this were back at the beginning of the year, I would know this like back of my hand, but I haven't. Partimento, is it, where in Italy? Naples. Yeah, okay. So Naples, Neapolitan. So these musicians from Naples, the Catholic Church, and this really class, a caste, a class, or whatever, before capitalism as we think of it, of orphans and foundlings, these small young children in these like orphanages / schools, where they're trained, I think it said 6 days a week, from sunup to sundown, learning to do music and learning to do it in ways that they're taught to identify it orally with their ears. They're taught to speak it, to be able to do it as a language. So very similar to the traditions of other, art, like the art music of jazz in the United States and all over the world, and other folk musics, that it is this language of stuff that is not just this thing that's only written down. So these musicians are capable of, composing the missing part. We need an alto part here on this instrument. So okay, I'll improvise the perfect one because I can hear the notes that are missing and I know the language of what notes should go here. Or I can, compose all the new music for the service tomorrow, and notate all the parts and all that sort of thing. And there's a lot of just knowing how to improvise or sort of read their versions of chord symbols and stuff like that. And it's really exciting to know that really the true origins of Baroque music that we love so much were this wonderful tradition of improvising and changing stuff and making it new and fresh and reinventing it. And even like learning through listening to this podcast and stuff that having these scholars on to say it's called plain chant, but it's what we would also call Gregorian chant. That like so much of what they did was take Gregorian chants because, you know, the culture didn't move that quick. So they're still in the late Middle Ages, in the late Renaissance, they still have Gregorian chant music that they're taking the basic melodies of, but then they're Baroquifying it or late Renaissance-ifying it. So putting all this harmony and all this polyphony on it, and it's kind of a gateway drug to like gnarly Renaissance harmony and polyphony too, which is pretty crazy because it does a lot of things. Like the Renaissance harmonies are much more wild. They don't have the same idea of like this song is going to be basically mostly minor, you know, as like, oh, it's like A minor, and then all of a sudden it's A major for a while, then it's back to A minor, you know. It's like, it to our sensibilities it sounds a little strange, but it's cool. Anyways, this episode is I just love it. I also love that there is a lot of it's a little bit anti-establishment in terms of like what is the conventionally taught in school, in organized university, about what we think of, how we think that this classical music works. Even the idea of Roman numerals, and that Roman numerals, you know, the idea of a system of Roman numerals as we think of it didn't come about until much later, and it really was a way to teach the sort of emerging bourgeois class of people, once a university system existed, for a more middle class or a bourgeois, you know, class of people who could decide, I want to study at this college, which is a new idea, and I want to become this sort of career. You know, I'm not just like a nobleman or a clergyman or like a caste system or a guild member. You know, I'm not a tradesperson, as like my just born into my life. You know, my family was this tradesperson, so I do that. Or my, you know, I am an orphan and the church raised me and I happen to go to this place and this is what I do. And I'm never going to leave this social standing. This is just what I do. Anyways, as the existence of a college, you know, the idea of colleges in Europe, in France, in Italy, in Germany, sort of came about, then you have people who say, well, I want to study music, like, which is like me and like maybe like some of you. And they sort of, what we know as a Roman numeral system comes from the trying to figure out a way to teach this bourgeois class who did not grow up with the same intense and deep experience with music as the professional musicians of the early Baroque era did. Like what we're talking about, like if you were, you know, a 6-year-old that grew up, you know, until you're, I don't know how old, 17 or something, training, and then you go out in the world and you just work in churches and stuff. I think we could all understand that it's like that kind of learning and skill set where you're learning, that is your life. That's all you do. You wake up and you do music from age 6 to age 17, and you learn to sing it back and hear it and identify it and write it and all this kind of stuff. Like, to take somebody that's from a bourgeois class and to go, okay, you're 17 or 16, now you're coming into university, we're going to try to teach you the skills. Like, it's impossible, you know, to give the person the same abilities, really, and knowledge base. So this new knowledge base was crafted, and it just is inaccurate in many, many ways for that music. It doesn't mean that music wasn't made and doesn't continue to be made, but it doesn't accurately describe really even the musicians that composed and did the music, really what they were doing. It's kind of like an afterthought to the music to educate that class. I guess it's like a class, really. It's kind of a class thing. Anyways, it's really interesting. And I think it's fun because it's like it's like that thrill. I guess why people like conspiracy theories. Like, I'm knowing the real thing, the real truth. Everybody thinks nobody knows what's real except for me. I know the real secret behind it, which is that this is not a conspiracy theory, but I'm just opining, reflecting on the little itch that it's scratching here. So this is this professor. What's the name of this professor? It's not even listed here. Come on, Mikkel. Credit this guy. Okay. I have to click this link to go to the full episode, which is Johannes Menke. And he is going to talk about, it's very dangerous here to use Roman numerals, isn't it? In 17th century composition. And they're going to talk about Couperin, who is like an early Baroque and I believe late Renaissance composer who wrote some really cool things. Maybe we'll find one of Couperin's famous pieces to listen to that's very catchy and circular and very cool.
Speak about French compositional technique of that period. Okay, schemata and thorough-bass, and what was the system they were using back then? And could you speak about like the sort of thought music theory processes that Couperin would use?
Yeah, of course, it's difficult to summarize in a few sentences. We have done one episode in the episode before. We did 3 years ago. There were some informations on French style, also on composition technique, and I also have given some names of famous French theorists like Niver, who wrote a counterpoint treatise, and also a treatise on accompagnement, so basso continuo. In my book, you will find, here it is, an entire chapter on French music theory, because in my opinion, it's important to do that. Maybe to go back to your first question, why did I write a biography on Couperin? For me, it was also important to write such a biography as a music theorist. So with my perspective on composition technique and music theory and music education as well. Back to your question. So you were asking about the background of music education in France in general, but we can maybe discuss it taking François Couperin as an example.
Yeah.
So we know that he had education first by his father when he was very young. Then the father died, and the mother has found a new teacher, Jacques Tomelin. He was also an organ player, and some people have said that he was a kind of second père, a second father for Couperin. It's interesting that we have exactly here we have the Wikipedia about Jacques Tomelin, and there are some little exercises probably composed by Jacques Tomelin, which were used for the purpose of music education. Maybe we could have a look.
Okay, I have the slide actually right here. So couple of cadences. So
yes, of cadences.
Cadences. We were talking about cadences.
Probably they were used to teach to the students some typical progression, typical cadences they could use later for improvisation. For the offices in the church, because for the offices, of course, you were improvising all the time. The pieces we have in print maybe were also used, but they are more a kind of documentation of this practice. And if you go into these exercises, maybe I could play even because I have here a little digital organ.
It was a big hit the last time. We have to do it again.
The audience will like the sound of the organ.
I'll like it. Let's go.
If you have a look on the second cadence, I try to play it. It's very small now at the moment. Maybe I switch my screen. I can see it bigger. So it's the the cadence in D minor, it sounds like.
Cool. Another Picardy third.
What we can hear is one of those schemata I've identified as typical French. So we can find the so-called Armide progression, which happens in measure 2 when we go from the G minor chord to the E minor chord. So spoken, and it's very dangerous here to use nomen numerus, isn't it? But just for identifying the chords, it's the second degree, it's the fourth degree minor chord and the second degree minor chord in D minor. And it's very typical progression. I play it once again. Yeah, mostly followed by a dominant chord. It's a very typical thing. Trommelin obviously taught to his students. Directly in the next bar, we can find the famous Quinte superfluo chord. Yeah, almost every harpsichord organ player or specialist in French music loves that fantastic chord. You have a third degree. Now I'm using thorough bass. The third degree in the bass, the F. You find an augmented fifth in the soprano, and it sounds really dissonant. And a major seventh. So this is a very typical chord, and then you can resolve this to the sixth chord on the third degree. So here you can find two very special chords in one little cadence formula.
When you say chords, are they thinking contrapuntally and with counterpoint and intervals and thorough bass figures in that regard? Are they thinking of chords in this way?
I think if you study the French thorough bass treatises, you could take what you want, Niver or Dandrieux or what else. You can observe a certain interest in vertical structures, which they call l'accord, l'accord de la Quinte superfluo, l'accord. But it's a different approach on chords than we have today. So for them, also a dissonant sound is a chord. So they also say l'accord de la septième et de la neuvième, which is a spoken with modern words, a suspension of 7.
Yes, and we see this in Dandrieux, right? Because he would have this chord, and it's a vertical chord. Is that like the Germans also are sort of like this, right?
Okay. All right. So really, that was a little bit of clickbait. I didn't watch the video before. But not so much about Roman numerals, although it's interesting because it's definitely borrowed harmony, I suppose, because like the 2 chord would have maybe a B flat in it. I don't really know though, but I just don't know. I mean, this kind of harmony is so out of my expertise that I don't even know what's a couperon sort of thing. But you know what? Why don't we listen to a little bit of couperon? And Barricades is his most Barricades Mystérieuses is couperon's most famous tune these days. We'll listen to a little bit on the harpsichord, and then maybe we'll find an accordion version. It's very pretty and repetitive, sort of looping and cycling. You'll probably recognize it. Yes. Let's find an accordion version. I don't know what's going to be a good accordion version here. Oh my, like a Renaissance lute or something. Well, we'll just go with one of these. Let's go with Philippe Thuriot. Okay, enough of that. We're coming up towards the end. Yeah, I hope this is nourishing to you all. We're not totally finished yet, but I appreciate everyone this year. I appreciate everyone and everything, and this always serves primarily to do things that I find beautiful and interesting, and to share with you. And it's the old like field of dreams. If you build it, they will come kind of thing. Like it's like, well, I know that I cannot do this. I've known this from the very beginning of the live stream, that if I try to think of what I should do for all of you out there, it's not going to work. I have to think of what is cool to me, and then maybe temper that a little bit, so that it is interesting and has variety, which is also good for me too, But just to say, I believe this is the third year of the live stream that we're coming into. I think last, like this, 2024, I believe. Birdie, you would know. You've been here since the beginning. You think we're going into the third year of the live stream? I think so. It's so hard to know with like after my dad passing away, that I took, I just had such an interrupted year, and a big break here. But into the third year, cool. Thanks, Birdie. And anyways, just to express gratitude and to say that it's just so much fun. It's so beautiful. And what a wide world of music. And as always, I encourage you guys to send me stuff. I love to know. I love to be enriched by what you like, and I certainly will never judge it. The one thing I do try to watch out for, which I've never actually come into a problem with it, but to be careful, is to play just a lot of stuff that's like on record labels. Although the thing we just listened to seemed to be on Warner Music. Birdie says he wants to play more Baroque. You know what I just sent somebody, Birdie Wooster, is first I sent them my first year Mi Primero Año con el Bandoneón book, which has some like excerpts and versions of Baroque music that fits on the bandoneon. Great. And that fits on freebase accordion very well. And then I also have a German person took the Anna Magdalena notebook and just put that within the range and rewrote it for the bandoneon as well, which also works really well. And I'm going to send you both of those if I haven't already. I'll email you those. Those are really cool. So to anybody out there that enjoys Baroque music, if that puts a little thing in your brain. One of the things about the Stradella is incredible. And I think this year I've rekindled my love of the Stradella. I might love the Stradella now more than I ever have, in terms of as how wonderful it is. I've been using it for playing swing accordion and using the left hand for accompaniment there. And it's well, we all know that the accompaniment of the left hand can do polka and waltz and all kinds of other styles, fajo styles. I mean, so many different things, but using Frank Morocco's kind of quarter note thing, and it's amazing. I mean, so it's lovely to have all of it. Anyways, we're not done yet. You guys, you can leave if you want, but I'm not leaving yet. I definitely want to check out João Baradas is a Portuguese accordionist. Anyway, I guess to finish my thought is thank everybody. I'm really looking forward to going into this third year of the live stream. It's so awesome. I promise you the Jazz Chords course is coming soon. The forum on the new website, it's all coming soon, very, very soon. And I look forward to I won't stop talking about it when it is here. Get your copy of The Artist's Way. Let's see if I can find that here. Get your copy and read the first chapter and do the first exercise. Because when I see you all, we'll probably take, I don't know, maybe an hour. I don't want to take any more than an hour because I want to make sure that we have variety to do other stuff. But I want to make this sort of a community event. So we'll have the forums up, and if you want to, you can post your stuff on the forum. That'll be really fun. I'll share what I'm up to, and we'll all try to like kind of grow our artists' sensibilities and explore them and nourish them by doing this book over 3 months, because it's 12 chapters, and you're supposed to do 1 chapter every week. Okay, so on to a little bit more nourishing music. This is João Baradas from Portugal, really a prodigious and amazing young accordion player. And this is like a jazz piece. So João performs classical music, both new classical music and also like, other periods, Baroque music, for example. And he also performs jazz, and mostly I've heard him do just kind of sort of more contemporary styles, like not straight ahead bebop sort of stuff, although I bet he could. But anyways, this is, I believe, an original composition. And this was just released today. Hey. And what we hear on piano, I think, is actually his accordion. It's a wonderful piano patch. Oh, okay. In his left hand was like a vibraphone or something. I didn't pick that out to the very last note. Cool. And I guess they kept in the clunking, the mechanical clunking of the keyboard. Cool. Here, I will end. This is too cheesy to listen to very much of, but it's a wonderful way to go out, I think. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm going to go out on this one. This is, if you're new and still watching, this is the regular time. Last week I was a little bit earlier, or a lot earlier, but it's Tuesdays at this time, which is East Coast, 3 to 5 p.m., and West Coast of the United States, noon to 2 p.m. You can watch this on Facebook, on my channel Rising Read. You can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on Twitch. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll say goodbye, and I'll just end the stream after I've had enough of this song, which is not very much. Be safe out there. See you next week. Get your copy of Artist's Way. Read it. Read the chapter 1.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to